I believe that's correct.
Ravi?
I want to get back to my question is, he said that they got everything kind of straight last May on this filtration building. In your opinion, were we not pushing them to say, hey, this pipeline is going to be done next summer? Why aren't we getting going on this filtration house earlier than now? Why am I seeing this? I shouldn't even be voting on this. It should have been built by now. So I didn't get it. I didn't understand or get a
Mr.
good
Fleming, I
explanation.
think the reason, and I think what Hutch was saying was because the additional testing and the pilot testing that had to be done on the treatment facility is why the delays were what they were before they could decide. TCQ requires a pilot test.
But that was before May.
Yes, sir.
May 2012.
So what's happened from last May until now?
The design work and stuff and procurements for the actual treatment facility and the other miscellaneous improvements at the water treatment plant. You know, y'all are scared of the radium and stuff. I'm more scared of the existing cooling facility. You have a rupture on a radium cylinder inside the building where it's at, it runs off in the floor. You have a rupture on a 1-ton cylinder at the water treatment plant, I don't know what kind of serious problems that citizens that live around the plant have. That's my concern. I'm not concerned about the radium. But back to your question, those things had to be done. A lot of this was done before me. I mean, these decisions were made by this council, or not this council, by council, that, okay, we're good with ion, let's do the RO, that's more delays, all the tests come back, have to do all the stuff. Then they actually, the engineering firm, don't know what they design until the decision's made. They can't start anything until council says, we're gonna go with radium, and then they start.
So it took over a year to come up with the design.
Yeah.
So that's the answer you're giving me.
That is, yes. And they were, if you look at the sketch.
Come to the microphone, Hutch.
Sorry. I guess this was still what we consider an expedited schedule. There's a lot of details. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of details and involvement in these minute details in this design. And when we first started with this project, we had a schedule. In the original contract, we said this is what we anticipate, and it's still in the original contract. And that shows the completion in about a year or two from now, actually. So we beat all the original what we would schedule for a normal project. Now, this was unusual, and we would have beat this too, but there was a decision from the water staff, from the council, hey, let's look at other technologies, because people wanted to see, if really this is the best answer we can get. Is single-use ion exchange the best answer? And unfortunately, with these technologies, these new processes, you cannot have a final answer, nor will the state approve it, unless you have a full-blown pilot plant investigation. And we did those, reverse osmosis, ion exchange. It took a lot of buildings, a lot of equipment, and you have to have 90 days of uninterrupted operation. Plus the reports that go before and after. So it does take 8 to 9 months.
We saw pictures and slides of that process.
Donnie?
Jim, Ricky, I'm sorry. I was trying to make heads or tails of the figures and not fussing, I'm just trying to understand. Okay, so our total contracts are
$19,380,000, that's correct.
Now, for the new plant coming on, is that the $2,890,000 for engineering fees? Or did I look at that?
No. I'm not following your question yet, so try me again.
Okay.
You're talking about what was the engineering cost for the new treatment plant?
Well, on your slides, that's what I was trying to figure out. It says Hickory Fund Summary Engineering Payments, $19,380,000. And it shows original contract amendment 1, 2, and 3.
Right,
on that slide.
okay.
And then what I was trying to figure out, does that include the the well field engineering costs?
Yes.
And, okay, that's one of the amendments then.
Right.
Okay, okay. Now, then on fee estimate breakdown, Carrillo Engineers continued. You've got total $2,885,000. That's on Amendment 3.
Correct.
So do we have an estimate on the engineering costs for the new plant in here anywhere?
That would be, I think that engineering fee was lumped in with Amendment 2.
Okay, so it's already in here?
Yes.
In the 19 million?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's what I was
Okay.
trying to figure out, sorry.
Any other further comment from council? Charlotte?
I would just like to ask if it is permissible for me just to ask if I can't hear something, or you're not going to let me ask for him to repeat what he said when I can't hear it? Because if you're not, I'm going to file a complaint against you with the American Disabilities Act. I simply was asking him to say what he said again, because I didn't hear it. Thank you.
Any other comment from council? Any comment from the floor? Somebody want to make a motion? Oh, come on, sir. I'm sorry, I didn't see.
Good afternoon, my name is Richard D. Robles. I'm not too sure this really fits, but when we're talking about this, I think it's important. I saw a news article last week or this week talking about the possibility of blending the water from the water line, the new water line, with existing water, 6-to-1. And that was an official from the city talking about that and saying that would be acceptable under the law. And that we would install a bypass pipe, or I would expect there would be a bypass on the new facility anyway. But he said that decision had not been made. My question is it going to be made? Are we going to have a bypass? And number two, just hearing today that we spent all this money to design a plant, and if we discontinue his services, do we have in our possession a complete design for that plant? Thank you.
Ricky?
I have called and talked to TCEQ about the options of blending the water. They want an engineer stamp report of our plans, techniques, drawings, calculations, everything. I think the closer number is probably 1 to 7, figuring a safety factor, or 1 to 8 on the blending opportunity. That all has to go to the TCEQ. I've called them early to go ahead and try to get that answer in case we do have some water, and that blending is an option. The bypass pipe is reviewing the final plans of that. There was not in the original 62 miles of plant. That's 24 that goes around, ties into the new treatment plant. And then we've added a place that goes and ties in where our 39-inch raw water line comes in from Ivy. So we do have an opportunity to have a place to inject it into our local deal. But he's correct, that decision has not been made because we do not have that official, I guess, opinion from TCEQ.
Yes, sir.
Ricky, I'm sorry, do you have any feel for that? Because to me, the year that we're in the process of building this thing, then we can gain basically a day a week.
Right. Well, there's some technicalities. You're not in violation unless you go, I think, 3 or 4 consecutive quarters, or basically a year, and you bust your 5 picocuries per limit at that point. So there are some options that, we might feed some water that's a little hot and back off, so I feel good that I think that they will let us do that. I mean, they understand the situation.
How long would it take to go ahead and tie in the system that you're talking about that you just?
I think there's probably another 45 days of work, something like that.
And then we could actually be using some
We
water.
be sending some water. The booster pump station, there was increase on their contract time for some restrictions on some of the ranches during the hunting season, and are expected to be through at the end of next month. So, yeah, I think 45 days we could expect, if we can get the rest outlined, and I think that would be an option if we can get a reply back.
Okay. I'd like to discuss that.
Yes, sir.
May I do a follow-up question?
You've got about 3 minutes.
Okay. Then the question is, does the city have the capability to measure such low levels of that radiation? And if indeed we are going to be forced to ingest that radiation, are we going to be concerned, or are we going to be consulted? I haven't heard discussion from the city council about giving everybody a certain amount of radiation.
To answer his question, the limit is 5 picocuries for the EPA on drinking water standards. That's the only limit they have on this water. We do not have the equipment necessary to make this water. We have to send those samples off. It takes a month to run those samples. So what water you think you're feeding today, you won't know for a month. So it takes a while to get them back. I don't know of any process that's faster to do it. It just takes time.
Rodney?